Yeah, good afternoon. Okay. So we are starting GS paper 1. In GS paper 1, we have segment of history. So I will be teaching you history, and this history is the part of GS paper 1. So before starting history syllabus, we have to know what is your course, what is the weightage of this GS paper in your examination and all. And then we will start our course. Before starting any subject, you must have idea what is your syllabus, what to do and what not to do is very important, right? Because you have to pass this examination. And anyone uh, is willing to sit for IAS exam as well? How many? For UPSC examination? How many of you? Raise your hands. UPSC, one, two only. Rest only for state service. IAS then I नहीं. Syllabus is almost same. Syllabus, every word of syllabus is same. So why not to sit for IAS exam as well? Because this state service will be only about 3 to 4 years. And this IAS exam will be every year. So that is the benefit of your UPSC exam. Anyway, that is your decision. So before starting history, we have to discuss a little bit about your syllabus of the examination. Syllabus. ठीक है? This is compulsory paper. One is your essay. It 250 marks. Essay paper, it 250 marks. ठीक है? In this year's essay paper, there will be 2 sections with 4 questions in section A and 4 in section 2. And out of 4 questions, we have to write only 1 question. Similarly, in second part, out of 4 questions, you have to write only 1. Means total number of questions you have to write only 2 questions. One from section A and second from section B. This is your paper called essay, and this is common for everyone, compulsory for everyone. Right? Word limit will be from 1000 words to 1200 words. The same pattern UPSC follows. Same pattern. ठीक है? Then you have 4 GS papers. General Studies paper. Again common for everyone. GS paper. You will have 4 GS papers. And every paper is descriptive paper. Means not MCQ. This all is descriptive in nature. GS paper 1 with 250 marks. GS paper 2 with 250 marks. Paper 3 with 250 marks. And paper 4 with 250 marks. In total marks is 1000 for GS. Right? And try to write down everything in the class. I will make the class very, very slow and comfortable to all of you. But write down everything in the class, make the class notes. Make the class notes. ठीक है? GS paper 1. 3 subjects are there. 3 subjects in GS paper 1. I'm concerned with GS paper 1 only. In GS paper 1, one is your history. History means world history as well. In pre-exam, we have to do only Indian history. But in the main exam, besides Indian history, you have to do world history as well. So this is the history and not only Indian history. So one subject is history. Second is your Indian society. and third is your geography. So 3 subjects are into GS paper 1. I am concerned with history. ठीक है? Last year, in your year 2020, that was the last year. Last month, how many? 4 years back. After 4 years, they are again taking this examination. December 15th, I believe. And main will be after 90 days. After 90 days. In 2025, they will take your main examination. And after 5 years, they were conducting this exam. 5 years back. ठीक है? In history, out of 250 marks, I saw your paper. So 110 marks was from history out of 250. 110 marks. In history, you have number 1 is your modern India. One is the modern India. Modern India means from about mid 18th century till 1947. This is your modern India till independence. Okay? So this is the most important part of history. Modern India. Most of the questions in your paper was from modern India. Out of 110 questions, 75 marks was from modern India. So maximum weightage should be given to modern India. Okay? Then you have Indian culture. We'll come to syllabus of modern India. We'll just come to syllabus of modern India. We'll stick to syllabus. Don't deviate from the syllabus. Only you have to do the syllabus, and within the syllabus, you have ample scope. You can eliminate some topics. Because this is not your IAS examination. This is the state service examination. The topics are limited. However, last year, from modern India, the nature of the question was similar to IAS question. Almost similar. The standard was very good standard last year. ठीक है? Next is your Indian culture. Indian culture, 3 topics are mentioned. In Indian culture, only 3 topics are mentioned. First is your architecture. First is architecture. Mention topic. What is architecture? What is architecture? When we speak of architecture, what is the meaning of architecture? Means all the methods or principles applied to construct any of the monument is called architecture. Okay? Like for example, in ancient India, we have lot of temples. So that is your temple architecture. Very important is your temple architecture. Okay? Temples appeared in India. Ancient India in pre-examination. This batch is you are through with the pre-examination course. All of you pre-exam किया है pre-exam का syllabus. Ancient India में you heard about temples. So when temples appeared in India, India का oldest temple कब आया? When? Which was the oldest temple of India? Because we have North India, we have South India. North India का मतलब होता है from Himalayas up to Narmada is North India called as. ठीक है? South of Narmada up to river Tungabhadra is your Deccan India. Between north and south, we have Deccan, Deccan Plateau. Western Deccan is Maharashtra. Eastern Deccan is Andhra and Telangana area. North Karnataka as well. So south of river Narmada up to river Tungabhadra. Tungabhadra river is tributary of which river? Tungabhadra is in the state of India. River Tungabhadra is situated in which state of India? Karnataka. Karnataka. So here we have Deccan, and south of this Deccan is your South India. So we have three regions of India: North India, Deccan, and South India. Up to Kanyakumari, we have South India. In all the three regions, we have temples emerged. Temple was the place where idols of gods and goddesses were kept for worship purpose. This is very, very important feature of Hinduism. Okay? So temples of North India was built in a style called kya? Temples of North India was built in which architecture? Which style? All temples of North India was built in a style called Nagar architecture. All temples of North India was built in a style called Nagar architecture. Like temples of UP, Bihar, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, all temples are into a style called Nagar architecture. Okay? Temples of South India are into a style called Dravid architecture. Dravid architecture. All temples of South India. Slightly different from North Indian temples. We'll discuss. This is only the outline of this discussion on the syllabus only. We'll start our topic. And firstly, we will do modern India. Then we will do culture. And then world history. Okay? This is simple discussion on your syllabus. Okay? So in South India, we have Dravid architecture. Okay? In South India, there are a lot of rulers like Pallavas, Cholas. So they built lot of temples in South India. So sometimes this is called as Pallava architecture because temples in South India was started by a dynasty called Pallava dynasty. After Pallava, we have Cholas dynasty. So Chola architecture means Dravid architecture. Pallava architecture means Dravid architecture. Both are same. So this Dravid architecture was slightly different from your Nagar architecture. Difference we'll discuss later on. Then we have Deccan architecture, which is called as Vesar architecture. Vesar means hybrid or mixture. Hybrid means some features of Nagar and some features of Dravid was mingled together into an architecture called Vesara architecture, or Vesar means a hybrid architecture because some features of Nagar and some features of Dravids were both found into Vesar architecture. So temples of Maharashtra, temples of North Karnataka, all are into this architecture. So one is the temple architecture, very, very important architecture. Okay. Besides Hinduism, temple architecture, a very important architecture is Buddhist architecture. Buddhist architecture. Buddhism. Buddhism was a new religion founded by Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha. After death of Gautam Buddha, within Buddhism as well, many monuments were founded. Many monuments were built. So all such monuments are Buddhist architectures. Like, for example, in Buddhist architecture, we have three different architectures. Three different architectures. One is called as Vihara architecture. What is Viharaj? What is Vihara? What is the meaning of Vihara? Vihara was the place where Buddhist monks lived together. So this is Vihara architecture. Okay? Which is the largest Vihara of India? Largest Vihara of India. In Arunachal Pradesh. Which Vihara? Tawang? Tawang Vihara. Largest Vihara of India in Arunachal Pradesh, Tawang. So these are the residential monasteries. Within such monasteries, Buddhists also gave education. World famous Vihara for giving education was in Bihar, Nalanda. Nalanda Vihara. So one is the Vihara architecture, that is Buddhist monastery. Monastery means residential places for Buddhist monks, separate for males and separate for females. Separate Vihara for males and separate Vihara for females. Okay. So what is Vihara architecture? How this was built? What was the function of Vihara architecture? Everything we accrue in your culture class. Okay. Besides Vihara, what is other Buddhist monuments? Like other Buddhist monuments? Besides Vihara? Sorry? Chatya. Chatyaj. Chatya architecture also very, very important. What is Chatya? What purpose Chatya fulfill? Chatya is the place of what? Worship. Buddhist monks assembled together for worship in a place called Chatya. In Chatya, you Buddhist temples. So Chatya architecture, we have to discuss how Chatyas were built. What was the purpose of Chatyas? What was the need of Chatyas? Any example of Chatya in India? Any example of Chatya? Most elaborate Chatya in India? Which Chatya? Anyone? Karle Chatya in Maharashtra. Very, very elaborate Chatya in India. Karle is the place in Western Deccan, that is Maharashtra, where we have most important Buddhist Chatya, Karle Chatya. So we have Chatya, place of worship. We have Vihara, place of residence for monks. And third, next, stupa. Next is your stupa architecture. What is stupas? Stupas क्या होता है? Suppose a Buddhist monk died, Gautam Buddha died. So under Buddhism, every religion, they have certain methods of disposal of dead bodies. Like in Hinduism, we have cremation. In Islam, we have burial. Burial. In Parsi, we have dead bodies left into open field to be eaten by the vultures. But the system is now discontinuing. Ratan Tata was a Parsi. and whose body was cremated. So other method was dismemberment of dead body. Dismemberment of dead body. ठीक है, dismemberment बोलते हैं इसको. So anyway, stupa is the firstly Gautam Buddha was cremated, then his ashes was collected and buried, and over which a monument was built that is called as stupa. So stupa is the burial mound in Buddhism. Stupa is the burial mound in Buddhism. Graveyards of Gautam Buddha or important monks. Which is the oldest stupa of India? Oldest. Where Gautam Buddha remains is kept. Gautam Buddha was from Uttar Pradesh area. Piparahwa. There are a lot of stupas like Piparahwa stupa, but most important is Sanjay stupa in Madhya Pradesh, Piparahwa in Uttar Pradesh, Sanchi in Madhya Pradesh. ठीक है, which is the biggest stupa of India and biggest of world as well? North Bihar, Kesaria stupa. Kesaria stupa is the largest stupa of the world, recently found by Archaeological Survey of India in 1990s. Before that, the biggest stupa of the world was in Indonesia, Borobudur, Java. In all the older books, it is mentioned that Borobudur was the largest stupa of the world, and this is in Java. Java means Indonesia. But now Kesaria stupa is the largest in the world, and this Kesaria is in North Bihar. So we have three different architectures in Buddhism: Vihara, Stupa, and Chatyaj. So how these were built, that we have to do in our architecture. Okay? So temple architecture is very, very important. Buddhism also very important. And we will discuss about medieval architecture as well. So from culture part, most of the questions shall be from ancient India or medieval India. Most of the questions. So in ancient architecture, Hindu architecture, temple architecture, Buddhist architecture, and Jain architecture as well. Jainism. Jainism as well. ठीक है. So Jainism architecture. Within Jainism we have temples for worship purpose. So Jain temples are called as Basadi. Basadi are the Jain temples. And Jain gurus are called as Tirthankars. 24 Tirthankars. So their idols are built, kept in the temples for worship purpose. So we have to do a sculptural art as well. So this is about your ancient Indian architecture. Right? लिख रहे हैं सब लोग, everyone? We are discussing the syllabus, which is very, very important. We'll stick to the syllabus. Don't deviate from the syllabus. Have to do all of these things only, and extra, nothing extra. No extra is required. Only these topics are required. Now, within architecture, that was ancient Indian architecture. Then we have medieval Indian architecture as well. Medieval India architecture as well. When Islam came to India, Muslim became the rulers. They also built lot of monuments in India. Like for example, they built lot of mosque, masjid. What is the mosque? Mosque is the place of worship where Muslims assemble together for worship. And within Islam, we have worship of one God only. This God is formless God, not in the form of idols. That God is Allah. Allah is formless. So Islam is monotheistic religion, believes in worship of one God only and formless God, no idol. Idol worship is not allowed in Islam. So they jumbled in the mosque for worship. ठीक है? So mosque architecture is number one. Which is the oldest mosque of India? No, yeah, much later. Jama Masjid Delhi was built by Shahjahan in 17th century. Much later. Which is the oldest mosque of India? Oldest mosque of India was in Kerala. Cheruman Jumma Masjid, Kerala. Oldest mosque of India. This mosque was built in the 7th century CE by the Muslims. 7th century CE, Muslims came to India. Firstly, they came to which state? Kerala. For suppose this is South India, right? This is South India. So the coastal area of South India from Karnataka to Kerala is called as Malabar area. So Muslims came from Saudi Arabia. Rise of Islam was in Saudi Arabia, Makkah, Medina, Saudi Arabia. And the Arab Muslims firstly came to Malabar area for trade purpose in 7th century CE. And some of these Muslims settled down in Malabar area. So need was to build a mosque there. That was the reason why they built a mosque into Kerala. This is the oldest mosque of India, Cheruman Juma Masjid in Kerala. And they were Arabs. Okay. Then we have the biggest mosque of India was Jama Masjid Delhi. So how masjid was built? Mosque architecture. There are a lot of mosques. So what was the architecture used for construction of mosque is your mosque architecture. Okay. Then within medieval India, we have tomb architecture or mausoleum architecture, also called as Makbara. Makbara is the graveyard of the Muslim. Because in Islam, we have burial practice. So dead body is kept there. And if this dead body a very important person like king, queen, over that burial place, a monument was built called mausoleum, tomb or makbara. Okay? Like for example, costliest monument of medieval India, costliest monument. Which monument? Costliest of medieval India. Which monument? ताजमहल आगरा, ताजमहल आगरा इज मौजोलियम ऑफ किसका? वाइफ ऑफ शाहजहां, मुमताज महल. So this is the one of the World Heritage Sites of India. ठीक है. Some of the monuments of India declared as heritage monument, and some of the monuments of India declared as World Heritage monuments. So UNESCO is the body, UNESCO, which declares some monuments of the world as World Heritage monuments. So in India we have how many World Heritage monuments? 40, 43 or 42? 42, 43 हो गया. 43, that was proposed. 42 is now confirmed. And one of the monuments is Taj Mahal. So Taj Mahal is the World Heritage monument. So within Islamic architecture, we have mausoleum architecture and we have mosque architecture both. ठीक है. So one of the topics of culture is architecture. ठीक है. Second topic is your within culture. The second topic is your literature. The second topic is your literature. Architecture, literature. What is literature? What is literature? Written texts are literature. Like in ancient India, we have lot of literatures. In medieval India, we have lots of literature. So literature we have to do. In ancient India, medieval India, both. Like in ancient India, we have Vedic literature. And one of your questions was on Dharma Shastric literature last year. Dharma Shastra, that is the one of the literatures of ancient India. Within Hinduism, we have Vedic literature, Dharma Shastras, or simply Shastras. And many literatures of ancient India in Sanskrit. ठीक है. Similarly, in medieval India, we have to discuss literatures. Literatures into Persian language, Urdu language, Urdu literature, Persian literature. In South India, we have Tamil literature called Sangam literature. So Sangam literature of South India is the oldest literature of South India into Tamil language. So we have topic like architecture, we have topic like literature. And third topic is your art forms. Within art forms, we have a sculptural art, a sculptural art means within temples we have carving of image on the wall of temples, making of idols of Hindu gods goddesses. So these are called as sculptural art. In ancient India, we have paintings, art forms. We may have some dance drama as well. These all are the art forms. Dance. In ancient India, we have divine dance, dance of Shiva. So these three topics are part of your culture. Only three topics: architecture, literature, art form. That's it. इतना ही करना है. ठीक है. And next is your world history. Next is your world history. Last year, only one question was from world history. One question from world history. Two question from culture. Rest all question from modern. All the question from modern. ठीक है. So last, we'll discuss world history. We'll start with modern. ठीक है. So this is all about paper 1. Paper 2, you have lot of subjects like polity, governance, international relations. Paper 3, Indian economy, science and tech, disaster management, internal security. And paper 4 is the ethics paper. Okay. Then you have 2 optional papers. Any of one optional subject you have to choose. Any of one optional subject. Total marks is 500. Paper 1, 250, and paper 2, 250. And total marks is 1750 of your main exam. Okay. So this is all about your discussion on the syllabus. Now we can start with our modern India first. Any doubt, any confusion regarding syllabus topics and all? In modern India, just to start modern. Just start modern India. ठीक है. In modern India, briefly the topics mentioned is number 1, from 18th century onwards till 1947. From 18th century onwards till 1947, this is your modern India total syllabus. Within this modern India, one topic is significant events. Significant events. Significant, not insignificant. All significant events from 18th century onwards till independence is have to do. All significant events. ठीक है. Next is your issues and debates in modern India. Next is your stage of freedom struggle. Stage of freedom struggle means when India was conquered by Britain, India became colony of Britain. Hence Indians realized that we are being exploited by Britain. So feeling of nationalism appeared. Indians started a movement. They founded the political party called Indian National Congress. Indian National Congress was the first all India political party of India. When founded? When this party was founded? 1885. 1885, 28th of December, 1885, this party was started by some of the Indians. You matched it at Bombay. This was the first all India political party of India, Indian National Congress called. So from 1885 till 1947, we have to do this Congress politics. So this Congress politics into 3 phase or 3 stage. So first stage is called as a moderate stage or a moderate phase. From 1885 till 1905. First stage is moderate stage. Why called moderates? Because demand of this Congress party was very moderate. No demand to make India free from English. Demand was highly moderate demand. Administrative reforms, give us some rights, liberal rights, associate Indians into Indian civil services. So demand was not termination of English rule, but reforms of English. So demand was very, very moderate. This is the reason why this phase is called as moderate phase. Followed by the next phase called extremist phase. Extremist. 1905 till 1916 is your extremist phase. The demand of Congress party became slightly radical demand. Give us Swaraj. Some radical demand of Congress party. So this is called as extremist phase of Congress politics. And the last is your Gandhian phase. When Mahatma Gandhi became undisputed leader of Congress party, 1970 to 1947 is your Gandhian phase. So we have three stages of national movement of freedom struggle: moderate, extremists, and Gandhian. Three phase. Okay? So this topic is mentioned topic. The stages of the freedom struggle is mentioned topic. And then we have the topic called personalities. Personalities of modern India. Also mentioned topic. Some of the personalities of modern India is very, very important. Have to discuss their concepts, their contributions. So most important personality of modern India is which personality? सबसे बड़ा personality पूरे modern India का कौन थे? Mahatma Gandhi. So one is Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi called Gandhi. करना है. Gandhi के बाद next important personality of modern India. Very important. Anyone? किसको पढ़ेंगे और? Sorry? तिलक से क्वेश्चन आया नहीं है. Tilak was extremist leader and Tilak was confined only to Maharashtra. Tilak was never all India leader. Never. Tilak we can skip. Rajpat Rai we can skip. We'll do extremism. Rajpat Rai was also in extremism. He was from Punjab. और कौन? B.R. Ambedkar. B.R. Ambedkar. Subhash Chandra Bose. Rabindranath Tagore. Four is very, very important. Four is very, very important. From Northeast India, we have a very important personality, Rani Gaidinlu. सुना है नाम? Rani Gaidinlu from Northeast India was very important personality of modern India from Nagaland. ठीक है? But these four are very important all India personalities. Most of the questions in modern India are from Mahatma Gandhi, B.R. Ambedkar, Tagore and Bose. That's it. ठीक है? सारा नहीं कर सकते personality. We cannot do all the personalities of modern India. Cannot do. ठीक है? So this is all about your syllabus of modern India. इतना ही syllabus है modern India. Events, issues and debates, stage of freedom struggle, personalities. ठीक है? Events में सब चीज आ जाएगा. Anything they can ask in this event. So now we have to start our modern India. कोई doubt है तो देख लीजिए. If any doubt to anyone, you can raise your yes. हाँ. देखो, for your main exam, you don't have to do ancient India. You don't have to do medieval India. You have to do only modern India. ठीक है? Indian culture means ancient Indian culture, medieval Indian culture, and world history. But only in the main examination, after independence, a very small segment is added that is called as post-independent. But even in the IAS examination, every post-independence. Post-independence means 1947 till present. Only once in a while, sometimes they may ask only one question from post-independence. Otherwise, regularly, they are not asking questions from post-independence. In IAS examination, sometimes they are not asking questions from then world history. There were no question in 2020. There were no question in 2022 from world history, even in the IAS exam. ठीक है? Post-independence, sometimes they are asking, and in the post-independence, the topics are only one: integration, consolidation. Integration and consolidation. One topic. Means when India became independent. ठीक है? Some regions of India were being ruled by kings of India. Like, for example, princely estates ruled by Indian rulers. Princely estates means those kingdoms ruled by Indian kings. How many princely estates of India? How many? Nearly 565 or 600 or 500. कितना ही? So some of the states of India were princely estates ruled by Indian rulers. In Northeast India कितने थे princely estates? In Northeast India, how many princely estates? Northeast India में कितने थे princely estates? How many? One in Manipur. Other is Sikkim was never part of India. Sikkim was never princely estate. Sikkim now Assam was never princely state. Never. Arunachal was part of Assam. Nagaland was never part of princely state. Nagaland was part of Assam. Only two, Manipur and Tripura. One was Manipur, other was Tripura. There were two princely states in Northeast India, only two. Assam was British India. They were never part of princely states. Okay? So when India became independent, India such princely states. So that is integration or consolidation of India. Like Jammu Kashmir, Hyderabad, Junagadh, Bhopal, lot of such things. So this one topic is your consolidation and integration. ठीक है? Number 2, second, इसमें और क्या आएगा? Basic discussion on the syllabus. समझ में आ रहा है सबको? Everyone? ठीक है? Syllabus को समझो ठीक से. So take your time to make the funda clear about the syllabus. What we have to do? इससे बाहर नहीं जाना है. Next, when India became free, Suppose this India became free in 1947. ठीक है? So integration of princely states, number one, within India. Number two, when India became free, still some of the areas of India ruled by Europeans. Still, like Goa, ruled by which country? Goa, ruled by which country? Portuguese? Goa, Daman and Diu, Dadra Nagar Haveli, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, ruled by Portuguese. ठीक है? So this area also freed by India and merged with India. When Goa became free from Portuguese rule, what is the independence of Goa? 16 December 1961. Goa became free from Portuguese. So how India liberated Goa from Portuguese? Some areas of India ruled by French. Which area? France, Pondicherry, Pondicherry. Pondicherry and some other area, adjacent area, some other area, 5 other areas. So some area ruled by France as well. It also became part of India. November 1954. Officially France signed with India. 1962. It became part of India officially. However, Pondicherry was liberated in November 1st, 1954. So this topic is about integration, two things. The integration of princely states into India, liberation of some foreign powers from India, and their merger with it. So this one topic is the part of your syllabus. And second topic is your reorganization. दो ही टॉपिक लिखा हुआ है बस. In post independence, only two topics are given: integration, consolidation, and reorganization of India. इसका क्या मतलब करिए? इसका मतलब क्या है? What is the meaning of reorganization? जैसे मान लो इंडिया है, सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल दिस इज इंडिया, ठीक है? हियर वी हैव असम. असम वाज पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया, ठीक है? Some areas of Assam was reorganized. It became NEFA, Northeast Frontier Agency, which later became Arunachal Pradesh. Some area became Nagaland. Some area became Mizoram. Some area became Meghalaya. So this is your reorganization. So what basis? This word. ठीक है? So reorganization of India, like Bengal was reorganized. Bihar became separate. Odisha became separate. ठीक है? Andhra was reorganized. Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. Bihar was reorganized. Jharkhand, Bihar and all. Uttar Pradesh was reorganized. Uttarakhand, UP. So this is reorganization. Basis is, we'll discuss those things. So this is the post-independence. Very insignificant, least important topic. So maximum weightage we will give on modern. मैक्सिमम वेटेज पर मॉडर्न, उसको ठीक से करो. मॉडर्न इंडिया को, कल्चर को ठीक से करेंगे. उसके बाद लिस्ट फॉर वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री एंड पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस. सबसे लास्ट में पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस, एक दिन में हो जाएगा. इट विल टेक ओनली 1 डे. पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस, इसके दो कारण है. पहले तो आता नहीं क्वेश्चन, आएगा तो ये दो टॉपिक है बस. ठीक है? ज्यादा है सिलेबस, ज्यादा पढ़ना है, हो जाएगा. इतना नहीं होगा, होगा ना? ठीक है? एग्जाम इजी है आपका, एग्जाम इज नॉट वेरी टफ। यहीं से लोग जाएंगे ना, बाहर से तो नहीं जाएंगे, ऑल इंडिया का तो नहीं है। ठीक है, सो वी आर नाउ स्टार्टिंग आवर मॉडल कोर्स। कोई डाउट है तो पूछ लीजिए। इफ एनी डाउट टू एनी lingers in your mind, you can raise your doubts. कुछ डाउट हो, कोई क्वेश्चन हो तो पूछ लो आप लोग पहले, फिर विल स्टार्ट आवर मॉडर्न इंडिया कोर्स। कुछ डाउट, कुछ टॉपिक है, देख लीजिए। नोट्स मिल गया है सबको, तो गॉट योर हैंडआउट्स, नोट्स। उसके अलावा नोट्स के अलावा देखो, बेसिक विल बी क्लास नोट, क्लास नोट्स विल बी योर बाइबल, बेसिक। बिसाइड्स क्लास नोट्स, अगर कोई किताब लेना है, इफ यू वांट टू टेक वन बुक, यू कैन टेक ओनली वन बुक, दैट इज योर ओल्ड एनसीईआरटी क्लास 12, ओल्ड एनसीईआरटी क्लास 12 ऑथर्ड बाई विपिन, नहीं है विपन है वो, नाम ही लोग निकलते ही बोलते हैं इसका। विपिन चंद्रा, historian, was the head of JNU, but now he is no more. Bipan Chandra, Modern India, Old NCERT, Government of India. That is the only book you can consult. ठीक है, क्लास नोट से काम हो जाएगा आपका। The main thing will be the class notes. So shall we start Modern India? We are starting Modern India. समझ में तो आया सबको? किसी को नहीं आया तो बताना। हाँ, दूसरे से बताओ कोई फायदा नहीं होगा, अभी से बताओ क्या फायदा होगा। हर चीज का सोल्यूशन होता है। नंबर वन, वी आर स्टार्टिंग आवर colonial India, modern India. ठीक है, this is your modern India, or better called as colonial India. मॉडर्न इंडिया और कॉलोनियल इंडिया। अगर डिक्टेशन का कहीं काम होगा तो बताना आप, वी कैन गो फॉर डिक्टेशन है। देखो, बेसिक चीज है क्लास को समझना, अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, कॉन्सेप्ट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। इफ यू नीड, you can tell me, we can go for dictation as well, besides doing concept classes. ठीक है, so we are just starting our modern India or colonial India. This was your India. This was India. ठीक है, and this was in the west we have Britain. ठीक है, so in London a company was started, London West Company, for the purpose of doing trade with India, and not only India, in eastern countries as well, besides India, Indonesia, Malaysia, China, all of these areas which lie east of Britain. ठीक है. So this London based company was named as East India Company. East India Company was a London based company which was established in London in year 1600 C. In 1600 C, a company was formed in London for the purpose of doing trade with the eastern countries, including India. So this company was called as East India Company. ठीक है. इस कंपनी का हेडक्वार्टर लंदन में कहाँ था? This company headquarter in London was situated where? Leadenhall Street, London, headquarter of this company. Headquarter of East India Company was in Leadenhall Street, London. स्ट्रीट का नाम है लंदन में, वहीं पे हेडक्वार्टर था इस कंपनी का. ठीक है. ठीक है. The purpose of this company was to purchase some goods from India, some commodities from India. Which goods? Number one is spices. Number one was spices, because Malabar areas of India was famous for spice cultivation. ठीक है. Spice, for example, was most important was black pepper. Most important was black pepper or cloves, cardamom. All varieties of spices. But most important was black pepper, nutmegs. These all were spices. ठीक है. The spice cannot be grown into Britain and European countries. Cannot be grown. The spice were grown into tropical countries like Malabar areas of India, Indonesia. ठीक है. But there was need of spice into Europe. क्या यूज था स्पाइस का ब्रिटेन में? What was the use of spice there? क्या यूज होता था स्पाइस का? क्या होता था? चाय में है? सेल्फ लाइफ को. हाँ. फर्स्ट वन टू मेक देयर फूड टेस्टी. फूड में यूज होता था नॉन वेज फूड्स में. टू मेक देयर फूड्स मोर टेस्टी, स्पेशली नॉन वेज फूड्स. दूसरा, ड्यूरिंग द टाइम, this is the time of 17th century. So in 17th century, there were no any invention of refrigeration. Fridge was absent. So use of spice was to preserve their decaying foods as well. Preservation के लिए, because fridge was absent. So there were two use of spices. Number one, to make their food tasty, especially non-vegetarian foods. And number two was to preserve their decaying foods for some days. Because during that time, in 17th century, there were no discovery of refrigeration absent. तो दो यूज था स्पाइस का, एक फूड को टेस्टी बनाने के लिए और दूसरा मटेरियल को प्रिजर्व करने के लिए. चिकन को क्या करते थे लोग? स्पाइस में रैप करके 3-4 दिन तक यूज करते, अदरवाइज दिस फूड विल डिके. ठीक है. सो वन इज स्पाइस. स्पाइस के अलावा सेकेंड इंडियन गुड्स लिख रहे हैं सब लोग. एवरी वन इज राइटिंग पॉइंट वाइज. लिख लीजिएगा, जहाँ जरूरत होगा लिखवा दें. यू कैन टेल मी. ठीक है. सेकेंड गुड्स Besides spices, क्या होता था? Besides spices, which Indian goods was popular into world European countries? Which Indian goods? Cloths. Cotton is very important. Textiles. Indian textiles was world famous. Indian textiles was world famous. India was the biggest producer of textiles into world during the time. Biggest producer and biggest exporter of textiles into world was India. ठीक है? About 20% of world's total textile productions comes from India alone. About 20%. About 20% of global textile production comes from India alone. So India was the biggest producer of textiles into world during the time. World famous textile. ठीक है? Clear है? Within textiles, there are a lot of varieties like Indian cotton, world famous, that were named by Europeans as calicos. So calicos was Indian cotton textile. So Indian cottons were called by Europeans as calicos. Calico was usually white color, very soft Indian cotton. And most important, center of textiles or calicos in India was Bengal, Dhaka. Dhaka was world famous center for production of calicos. ठीक है? इसके अलावा besides calicos और क्या? Besides calicos, we have silk cloth as well, muslin as well. ठीक है? World famous costliest Indian silk was called as patola. Patola was Indian silk and most important center of patola was Gujarat. Gujarat was very important center for production of patola, most costly cloth of India. ठीक है? मसलिन, ठीक है? Change. These all were varieties of Indian cloths. Change was printed cotton textile. It was printed. Indian printed textiles was called as change. ठीक है? So one is spices, second was textiles, third Indian commodity was saltpeter. Saltpeter was basic raw material for manufacture of gunpowder. Saltpeter was raw material for manufacture of gunpowder, and this saltpeter was mined in Bihar areas and some parts of Madhya Pradesh, mainly Bihar. Bihar, Jharkhand. Jharkhand was part of Bihar. ठीक है? So the Indian goods were required in Britain. That was the basic reason why East India Company came to India for trade purpose. India was ruled by Mughals during the time. Very mighty empire. Mughal India. Mughal India was, दिख रहे हैं सब लोग? Mughal India was one of the mightiest empire of the world. ठीक है? So from Britain, this company comes to India with bullion. Bullion means uncoined silver and gold. Bullion, gold and silver comes to India to purchase Indian goods. ठीक है? And they purchase Indian goods from Indian weavers, Indian peasants, and then all these goods goes to Europe and Britain for sale purpose. So this trade is called as bullion for goods trade or BFG trade. So make a chart, always make a chart. इसी को फ्लो चार्ट बोलते हैं, जरूर बनाना एग्जाम. Bullion for goods trade was pattern of trade between Britain and India from 17th century onwards. Bullion for goods trade, BFG. Bullion come to India in form of silver and gold, and goods goes out of India for sale into Britain, other countries. And this East India Company makes the profit after selling Indian goods into European markets and market of Britain. So this trade is called as BFG trade or bullion for goods trade. ठीक है? ब्रिटेन के पास कहां से आता था सिल्वर? फ्रॉम वेयर ब्रिटेन गॉट द सिल्वर? ब्रिटेन में तो कोई सिल्वर माइंस था नहीं. There were no silver minings to Britain. Britain had colonized America. America is called a New World. America is called as New World. Britain, Portugal, Spain, France, they colonized entire America, North America, Central America, and South America. And this America was the land of gold and silver. So this American silver goes to Europe, and part of this silver used by Britain to buy Indian goods. ठीक है? Before coming to India, entire New World was colonized by Europe from 16th century onwards. They colonized. Entire America was colonized by Europe from 16th century onwards. पूरा का पूरा साउथ अमेरिका. किसका रोल था साउथ अमेरिका पे? Which country ruled South America? Spain. And Brazil was ruled by Brazil. South America सबसे बड़ा कंट्री ब्राजील है. Brazil was colony of Portugal. Entire Central America was colony of Spain. And 13 colonies in North America was colony of Britain. North America का 13 colony of Britain. 14 फ्रांस का. So this was American silver which comes to Europe, and part of this silver used by European country to purchase Indian goods. ठीक है? So this was pattern of trade between India and Europe. ठीक है? इसको लिखवा दें. You want to write down? क्या हो जाएगा? आप लोग बताओ. चाहिए? लिखिए, लिखिए, लिख लो. We are doing the conquest of India by East India Company. उसी को डिस्कस कर. बैकग्राउंड है सर. लिखिए, लिखिए. East India Company came to India in early 17th century. In early 17th century. In early 17th century to buy Indian goods. To buy Indian goods like spices, textiles, and saltpeter. Like spices, textiles, and saltpeter. ठीक है, क्लियर है. India was ruled by Mughals. India was ruled by Mughals during the time. So the company comes with bullion. So the company comes with bullion, that is silver and gold. Silver and gold to buy Indian goods. To buy Indian goods. And before 17th century, America or New World, America or New World was colonized by Europe, which was land of gold and silver, which was land of gold and silver. सिल्वर का सबसे बड़ा माइन अमेरिका में कौन सा है? विच इज द बिगेस्ट सिल्वर माइन ऑफ अमेरिका? बोलीविया. बोलीविया कंट्री है ना अमेरिका में, साउथ अमेरिका में. बोलीवियन सिल्वर was one of the largest silver mine of the world. Bolivian silver was one of the largest silver mines of the world. ठीक है. So American silver comes to Europe. So American silver comes to Europe, which was used by American silver comes to Europe, which was used by East India Company to finance its trade with India. American silver used by East India Company. American silver used by East India Company to finance its Indian trade. To finance its Indian trade. ठीक है. After purchasing Indian goods, these were sold into Britain and European market. These were sold into Britain and European markets. So this trade was called as BFG trade. So this trade was known as BFG trade or bullion for goods trade. ठीक है. तो इससे नुकसान किसको हो रहा है? फायदा किसको हो रहा है? इंडिया वाज बेनिफिटेड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस ट्रेड। ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ वेल्थ वाज कमिंग टू इंडिया, और ब्रिटेन से बहुत सारा वेल्थ का फ्लक्स आउट हो रहा है, तो ब्रिटेन वाज एडवर्स, इंडिया वाज इन एडवांटेजियस सिचुएशन, एंड दिस वाज द रीजन व्हाई इंडियंस वेलकम्ड ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी। क्लियर है सबका आगे? ठीक है। 18th सेंचुरी में थोड़ा समझा देते हैं कि लिखवा है। 1707 मुगल बादशाह औरंगजेब डायड। 1707 मीन्स अर्ली 18th सेंचुरी। वी हैव, समझ लीजिए कि लिखवा देते हैं। 1707 means early 18th century. We have death of Mughal Badshah Aurangzeb, and after death of Aurangzeb, Mughal Badshah or Mughal Empire now started declining. Small kingdom emerged, and these kingdoms were fighting war between themselves. So there were political decentralization. 18th century. 18th century political decentralization in India after death of Aurangzeb, Mughal Badshah. But the political situation was now favorable for conquest. 18th century. So if East India Company conquer India or Bengal, they will capture Bengal revenue, and from Bengal revenue, now they can purchase Indian goods. Man India के पैसा से इंडिया का सामान खरीद, and now these goods were going out of India. So why conquest of India? To stop this BFU trade. Because of this BFU trade, huge amount of wealth of Britain was coming to India. So Britain was suffering economically. So this was one of the reasons of the conquest of Bengal. आया समझ में? मतलब conquest of Bengal was for their own economic advantage, their own economic interests. ठीक है, इसको लिखिए पहला, नेक्स्ट लिखिए, लिखिए। After death of Aurangzeb, हाँ, after death of Aurangzeb, after death of Aurangzeb, in 1707, after death of Aurangzeb, in 1707, Mughal Empire started declining. Mughal Empire started declining. 18th century was political decentralization in India. 18th century was political decentralization in India. Small kingdoms of India, small kingdoms of India started fighting between themselves. Small kingdoms of India started fighting between themselves, taking advantage of this political instability in India, taking advantage of this political instability in India. East India Company now planned to conquer Bengal. East India Company now planned to conquer Bengal so that company can use Bengal revenue to buy Indian goods, ठीक है? This was This was essential to stop. This was essential to stop BFG trade. This was essential to stop BFG trade, bullion for goods trade, because this trade was because this trade was highly adverse for Britain. Because this trade was highly adverse for Britain. So एक रीजन कन्क्वेस्ट आया समझ का. The basic reason was company now wanted to capture revenue of India, to buy Indian goods and to stop BFG trade. Because of this trade, huge amount of wealth from Britain was coming to India. So Britain was suffering. This was economically disadvantageous for Britain. One reason. First is clear. ठीक है. Second, next. थोड़ा समझ लेते हैं फिर बताते हैं. नेक्स्ट. समझ में आ रहा है सबको? नहीं क्लियर है एवरीवन? चार्ट बनाया है, फ्लो चार्ट. एवरीवन फ्लो चार्ट जरूर देंगे आप लोग आंसर में. विदाउट फ्लो चार्ट डोंट राइट आंसर्स. जितना फ्लो चार्ट यूज करोगे, जितना मैथ यूज करोगे, उतना ही अच्छा हो. विल गेट गुड मार्क्स. और जहां फ्लो चार्ट नहीं है, दे विल कट योर मार्क, डिडक्ट योर मार्क. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट. Next was, suppose East India Company have to buy textiles of Bengal. Textiles of Bengal. तो मान लो है बंगाल के वीवर्स हैं. We have Indian weavers in Bengal who manufactured textile. ठीक है. So there were millions of Bengal weavers. East India Company was a foreigner company. It cannot deal with millions of Bengal weavers. So what East India Company used to do? East India Company used to take the help of Indian intermediaries. उसको बोलते थे गोमास्ताज. गोमास्ताज were Indian intermediaries who mediates between East India Company and Bengal weavers. ठीक है. Because East India Company cannot directly deal with millions of Bengal weavers. They cannot directly do. So they took the help of Indian intermediary called Gomastas to purchase or to procure the goods from Indian weavers. So what was the pattern of the trade? East India Company through Gomasta gave cash advance to Indian weavers. Cash advance. कि इतना पैसा ले लो और इतना सामान बना के हमको इस समय डिलीवर कर देना. So cash advance given by company to weavers through Gomastas. This was called as Dadan. Dadan was cash advance given by company to Bengal weavers through Gomastas. So Dadan was the cash advance given to weavers to manufacture cotton textile to be supplied by weavers to East India Company on due date and due quantity. इतना क्वांटिटी में इतने समय पर हमको ये सामान चाहिए. टाइम एंड क्वांटिटी both were prescribed. The system is called as Dadini system or Gomasta system. ठीक है. पहले बना लो आप लोग, लिखवा देंगे. Don't worry, we'll go for dictation. ठीक है. So this system was called as ददनीस, देखो थोड़ा सा ज्यादा लिखोगे तभी तो एडवांटेज मिलेगा आपको दूसरे से। किताब में नहीं मिलेगा सब चीज, क्लास नोट्स में मिल जाए, स्टैंडर्ड किताब। ठीक है, तो मेक योर आंसर qualitatively different from the others to get the advantage, to get the good ranks। अच्छा रैंक मिलेगा तो क्या पोस्ट मिलेगा? सीओ, सीओ मिलेगा। कितना पोस्ट होता है सीओ का? हाउ मेनी पोस्ट? 40 है, ओनली 40, 40 50, 40 50 तो बहुत टफ है, तो 40 50। हाँ, उसके बाद डीपीएसपी, डीएसपी, उसके बाद डीएसपी, वो भी अच्छा जॉब है। तो मेक योर आंसर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द अदर्स, ओनली देन यू कैन गेट द मार्क्स। बनाओगे तो हो जाएगा, इजी है एकदम। ठीक है, समझा देते हैं। तो मान लो इंडियन वीवर्स टुक द डजन, इतना पैसा दे दो हमको, 1 लाख रुपया दे दो, मान लो 1 लाख, 1 लाख ले लिया इंडियन वीवर, सामान बनाया और गुमास्ता के थ्रू सामान कंपनी को दे दिया। तो कंपनी ने क्या किया कि सामान को मान लो रिजेक्ट कर दिया कि सामान आपका स्टैंडर्ड नहीं है। ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी में रिजेक्ट दोज गुड्स ऑन द ग्राउंड ऑफ बीइंग सब स्टैंडर्ड, हो सकता है सामान ठीक नहीं बनाया आपने, ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी में रिजेक्ट सच गुड्स। उस कंडीशन में इंडियन वीवर्स वेयर फ्री टू फॉरफिट द डजन, मतलब जो कैश एडवांस दिया हुआ है इंडियन वीवर्स लौटाएगा नहीं उसको, इन द केस ऑफ रिजेक्शन ऑफ गुड्स बाय सम। इससे कंपनी को बहुत नुकसान हो रहा था। तो मान लो कंपनी अगर बंगाल का रूलर बन जाता है, कंपनी बिकेम रूलर्स ऑफ बंगाल, then company can pass the rule and eliminating this right of weavers, no right of forfeiture. So this was another cause of the conquest of Bengal। नहीं आया समझ? forfeiture मतलब होता है under Dadni system or Gomasta system, Indian weavers have right of forfeiture of Dadan if company reject their goods on the ground of a substandard. So company was losing huge amount of wealth because of Indian weavers forfeiture of the Dadan. So other region of conquest of Bengal was why not to become the political power of Bengal, and so that company can pass the law to subordinate the weavers, and this right may be scrapped। और यही रीजन है कि आफ्टर कन्क्वेस्ट ऑफ बंगाल दिस राइट वाज abolished by ईस्ट इंडिया। Another cause of conquest of Bengal was this economic reason। बना लिया चार्ट, देखिए, राइट डाउन। Second reason of conquest of India was second cause of पॉइंट वाइज लिखते हैं, सेकेंड नंबर दे दें फिर लिखें। सेकेंड कॉज ऑफ conquest of Bengal or India by the company was Dadini system or Gomasta system, was Dadini system or Gomasta's system। ठीक है, Dadini system or Gomasta's system। under the system East India Company used to give cash advance or dadan cash advance or dadan through intermediaries or gomastas, through intermediaries or gomastas to the weavers to procure the textiles, ठीक है. If East India Company, if East India Company rejects the goods, if East India Company rejects the goods on the ground of being substandard, on the ground of being substandard, then Indian weavers, then Indian weavers have the right, have the right to forfeit the dadan, to forfeit the dadan, because of which East India Company suffered huge financial loss, because of which East India Company suffered huge economic loss. So now East India Company wanted to become, so now East India Company wanted to become political master of Bengal, political master of Bengal, political master of Bengal, to abolish this system, to abolish this system which was economically adverse for the company, which was economically adverse for the company. ठीक है. So this is all about your regions for conquest of Bengal by East India. रीजन समझ में आ गया सबको? ठीक है, हो जाएगा. हाँ, ठीक है. इस पे क्वेश्चन जरा ले लो, मॉडल क्वेश्चन लिखने का ट्राई करना, आप लोग लिखने का ट्राई करना. आई एम गिविंग वन मॉडल क्वेश्चन. Conquest of Bengal, the conquest of Bengal by East India Company, the conquest of Bengal by the East India Company was primarily because of economic interest of the company, was primarily because of the economic interest of the company, and not to civilize the Indians, and not to civilize the Indians. ठीक है. Do you agree? Do you agree? 150 words. समझ में आ गया क्या लिखना है इसमें? Now we are discussing how East India Company conquered Bengal. That was the region of conquest of Bengal. Now come to how East India Company conquered Bengal. ठीक है. जैसे मैंने लिखा इकोनॉमिक इंटरेस्ट ऑफ कंपनी. इकोनॉमिक इंटरेस्ट में क्या होगा? पहला होगा ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी वांटेड टू discontinue BFG trade because that was economically reverse for Britain. East India Company now wanted to capture Bengal revenue to buy Indian goods तो बंगाल रेवेन्यू पे किसका कैप्चर होता है? पॉलिटिकल मास्टर का कैप्चर। तो बंगाल रेवेन्यू कंपनी वांट टू फाइनेंस इट्स ट्रेड फ्रॉम इंडिया गुड्स। तो पहला इकोनॉमिक रीजन है हुआ। सेकेंड इकोनॉमिक रीजन क्या हुआ? इंडियन वीवर से द दिनी सिस्टम और गोमास्ता सिस्टम, because this system was adverse for Britain or the company, because Indian weavers were forfeiting the done which was given by company to Indian. तो मान लो if East India Company is the political master of Bengal, East India Company political master of Bengal can discontinue this rule. Indian weavers no right of forfeiture. तो इसी 2 पॉइंट को लिखना है। ठीक है, 2 पॉइंट में 150 मार्क्स वर्ड्स में लिमिट में आंसर है आपका। यही है, समझ में आ गया क्या लिखना है इसमें? सेकंड, हाँ हाँ, suppose for example East India Company was owned by whites, white race, ठीक है। Indians were not whites but colored race, Indians were colored race people, not white, non whites। तो पहला ऐसा बोलते थे लोग, ब्रिटेन के लोग, they believe in the white man's burden theory, which is completely false theory, racial theory था, under which according to this theory whites men of the world were the civilized race of the world and colored race non-whites were uncivilized. So it was duty of the whites to civilize the colored people. So to civilize the colored people, they became the political rulers of India, to civilize, which is not correct. Because even whites men were more barbarian than the colored people. So this is the racial concept. एक concept है Rudyard Kipling का, which is based on racial false superiority concept. Rudyard Kipling, white man's burden theory, based upon the racial concept of white man's burden theory, which is false. Even the colored people were more civilized than the white men. So they came to India, they became political masters, not to civilize the Indians, but for their own economic interests. ठीक है, the second part of your this. Second part आया समझ में? Got this thing? ठीक है? And after, जैसे Bengal conquered by East India Company in 1757 through Battle of Plassey, conquest of Bengal through Battle of Plassey in June 1757. So once East India Company became political master of Bengal, now they started using Bengal revenue to buy Indian goods. These Indian goods was going to Britain. So huge amount of wealth of India now goes to Britain. And this is the reason why from 1757 till 1947, India became one of the poorest countries of the world, because huge amount of Indian wealth now goes to Britain. And before 1757, India was one of the richest countries of the world. But under English rule, India now became one of the poorest countries of the world. ठीक है, इंडिया का पर कैपिटा इनकम वेरी वेरी लेस, लिस्ट पर कैपिटा इनकम कैलकुलेटेड बाय दादा भाई नॉट। इस टाइम में इंडिया का पर कैपिटा इनकम कितना था अंडर इंग्लिश रूल? ₹21, 20 के आसपास ओनली 20 रुपीज पर कैपिटा इनकम ऑफ इंडिया, वन ऑफ द लोएस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड अंडर इंग्लिश रूल। एंड बिफोर इंग्लिश रूल इंडिया वाज द रिचेस्ट कंट्री ऑफ द वर्ल्ड। तो इंडिया का पैसा गया कहाँ? ब्रिटेन में चला गया। ठीक है. So this is called as train of wealth theory. बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे इसको. Train of wealth theory propounded by कौन? दादा भाई नॉर्थ. Train of wealth theory. He now proved how the wealth of India was going out of India to Britain. ठीक है. सीक्वेंस वाइज गो सीक्वेंस वाइज. समझ के क्या लिखना है? तो दिस वुड बी योर आंसर. So now come to how Bengal was conquered by East India Company. हाँ. नहीं समझ. Ghazni system. Suppose here we have East India Company and here we have Indian weavers. This East India Company want to purchase the textiles manufactured by Indian weavers. So this company now give cash advance called Dadan to Indian weavers through Indian intermediaries called Gomastas. Gomastas were Indian intermediaries who mediates between East India Company and producers Indian weaver, right? So suppose for example, this Dadan was rupees 1 lakh. Suppose to manufacture this much amount of the textiles and to be given to East India Company on due time. मतलब due quantity and due date both were given. But these Indian weavers were free to sell their goods to other Syllabus, not only to come. Indian weavers were free to sell rest of their goods to any other person. Clear hai? Because this Indian weavers were not ruled by East India Company, but ruled by Bengal Nawab. Bengal kings called as Bengal Nawab. ठीक है? So Indian weavers were not under control of East India Company. They were ruled by Indian kings called Nawab of Bengal. ठीक है? But once East India Company became political master of Bengal, company rule started. East India Company now abolished the system. Means, suppose for example, company reject their goods on the ground being substandard. The Indian weavers cannot have right of forfeiture of Dadan. And number two, this Indian weavers can sell their goods only to East India Company and not to others. Means Indian weavers became under control of East India. So this was the political subordination of Bengal weavers as well. आ गया समझ में? लिख देंगे और लिखवा दें कुछ. ठीक. So now come to how East India Company conquered Bengal. We are now discussing how East India Company now conquered Bengal. Bengal conquest. ठीक है? Conquest of Bengal by East India Company. Bengal was, this is suppose for example, here we have Mughal Empire. मुगल एम्पायर, ठीक है। बंगाल was part of Mughal Empire. Bengal was a part of Mughal Empire. ठीक है। Here we have the Mughal Badshah. Capital was now Delhi. Mughal Badshah sits in Delhi. Delhi was now capital of the Mughal Empire after Agra. ठीक है। Who transferred capital from Agra to Delhi? Which was the Mughal Badshah who transferred Mughal capital from Agra to Delhi. Which Mughal Badshah? Shahjahan. Mughal Badshah was Shahjahan who transferred Mughal capital from Agra to Delhi. ठीक है। 1630s में, in 1630s Mughal Badshah Shahjahan had transferred Mughal capital from Agra to Delhi. दिल्ली में लाल किला was their residence. लाल किला, Red Fort in Delhi was the capital of the Mughal Badshah. ठीक है। So this Mughal Empire had lot of province. Province was called as Subba. For administrative convenience, Mughal Badshah had divided their empire into provinces, and province was called as Subba. ठीक है। Mughal king was called as Badshah, title throne. Mughal king was called as Badshah with capital Delhi, and for administrative convenience, this Mughal empire was divided to provinces called Subbaj, and one of the Subbaj was Bengal. तो मान लो यहाँ बंगाल है, बंगाल was one of the Mughal Subbaj. Bengal, Hyderabad, Awadh, Punjab. So these all were the Mughal provinces. ठीक है। So at the province, this Mughal Badshah appointed in charge of this Subba called Subedar. So Subedar was the head of Subba, appointed by Mughal Badshah. So Subedar का मतलब होता है provincial governors, head of the Subba. So head of the Subba was called as Subedar, and Subedars were appointed by the Badshah, report to the Badshah, controlled by the Badshah. Anytime they can be transferred from one Subba to other and may be dismissed. ठीक है। So these Subedars were not independent. They were under control of Badshah. ठीक है। In 1707, Aurangzeb died. After death of Aurangzeb, Mughal Empire started declining. Taking advantage of decline of the Mughals, these Subedars became now independent ruler of their area. So Bengal became now independent kingdom ruled by independent king called Nawab. So Subedar now became Nawab. Nawab means independent ruler of the area. ठीक है। For example, Murshid Quli Khan was Mughal Subedar, taking advantage of Mughal Empire decline. He now became independent Nawab of Bengal, founder of Bengal Kingdom, and who was a Shia Muslim. Islam is clear, all of you. इस्लाम में दो सेक्ट्स होता है, एक सुन्नी है, दूसरा शिया। ठीक है। सपोज यहाँ इस्लाम है, rise of Islam was in Saudi Arabia. ठीक है. Prophet Muhammad was their messenger of Allah. Prophet Muhammad was never God. God is Allah. Allah is formless. And this Allah appointed Prophet as the messenger, Nabi and Rasul, to spread the will of Allah. ठीक है. तो Prophet Sahab died in 632 CE. He died. After death of Prophet Muhammad, in Islam we have rise of two sects. एक को बोलते हैं सिया और दूसरे को बोलते हैं सुन्नी. After death of Prophet Muhammad, in Islam we have rise of two sects, सिया and सुन्नी. ठीक है. इंडिया में ज्यादा सिया है कि सुन्नी है? इंडिया में who in majority in India? सिया और सुन्नी. कौन है? सुन्नी. वर्ल्ड में 4 कंट्री को छोड़ करके सारे कंट्री में सिया इन माइनॉरिटी, सुन्नी इन मेजोरिटी. सिर्फ 4 कंट्री में सिया इन मेजोरिटी. ओनली 4 कंट्री ऑफ द वर्ल्ड सिया मेजोरिटी. 4 ही कंट्री है दुनिया में. कौन कौन सा कंट्री है? विच कंट्री? ईरान और इराक, नो नॉट. अफगानिस्तान में सुन्नी मेजोरिटी है, हार्डकोर सुन्नी मेजोरिटी. और कौन कंट्री है? नो, इजिप्ट में सुन्नी. इजिप्ट ऑलवेज सुन्नी. बहरीन, अजरबैजान, यही 4 कंट्री है बस. ओनली 4 कंट्री शिया मेजोरिटी कंट्री. रेस्ट ऑफ ऑल कंट्रीज आर सुन्नी मेजोरिटी कंट्री. इंडिया, पाकिस्तान, बांग्लादेश, हर जगह सुन्नी मेजोरिटी, एवरीवेयर. So Murshid Quli Khan was a Shia Muslim and not a Sunni. मुर्शीद कुली. फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन बहुत होता है प्री में आपका. प्री क्वेश्चन जो है ना आपका फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन ही है सब. अधिकतर फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन, मोस्ट क्वेश्चन था फैक्चुअल. आसान है. सिया सुन्नी में क्या डिफरेंस होता है? दैट इज द पार्ट ऑफ योर मेडिवल. ठीक है. मेडिवल इंडिया का पार्ट है, यहाँ का पार्ट नहीं. वो तो आया तो मैंने थोड़ा बता दिया. ठीक है, हो जाएगा ना. क्लास क्लियर है, सबको समझ में आ रहा है? एवरीवन पीछे? ठीक है. So from 1717 onwards, Bengal practically became independent from Mughal rule. Ruled by Bengal Nawab. Founder was Murshid Quli Khan. Murshid Quli Khan with capital Murshidabad. Murshidabad was the Bengal capital under Murshid Quli Khan. उसी के नाम पे इसका नाम है मुर्शिदाबाद. मुर्शिदाबाद बंगाल में है ना अभी. Presently we have place called Murshidabad in West Bengal, India. ठीक है. So this is the background of Bengal becoming independent kingdom under Bengal Nawab. First Nawab was Murshid Quli Khan, 1717 onwards. After Murshid Quli Khan, we have a lot of Bengal Nawabs. Many. Sarfaraz Khan, Ali Wardi Khan, lot of Bengal Nawabs. We are not concerned with such Bengal Nawabs. ठीक है. After death of Ali Wardi Khan, now Siraj-ud-Dawla became Bengal Nawab. Sirajuddaula became Bengal Nawab in 1756 to 57. Siraj or Sirajuddaula became new Nawab of Bengal in 1756 after death of Aliwardi Khan. After death of Aliwardi Khan, new Nawab became Siraj or Sirajuddaula. ठीक है. So by 1756, East India Company objective was now conquest of Bengal. And why objective? We explained the reasons. Because of economic reason, because of Dadini system, because of BFG trade, East India Company now wanted to capture Bengal revenue region we explained. So we are discussing how Bengal was conquered by the company. ठीक है? So here we have East India Company. Here we have East India Company. East India Company headquarter was in London. Headquarter was in London. And during the time, this was the biggest company of the world, East India Company. So this company was governed by its governing body called Board of Directors or BOD. It sits in London. East India Company was governed by its own Board of Directors or BOD, and BOD was in London. कितने मेंबर थे BOD में? How many members of BOD? कितने? No. 24. 24 members of BOD. बाद में it was scaled down. It became 18 later on. Total number of the members of BOD in London being 24. ठीक है यहाँ तक क्लियर है. एंड मान लो है इंडिया है, तो इंडिया में सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल वन इज योर कैलकाटा. कैलकाटा वाज इन ईस्ट इंडिया इन बंगाल, very important port in India, which handle bulk of trade from North India, East India. Other important port was Madras port. Other important port was in Bombay. So three important ports of India: Calcutta, which handled bulk of trade of North India, East India; Madras, which handled bulk of trade of South India; and Bombay, which handled bulk of trade of West India. ठीक है, तो तीन जगह पे BOD अपॉइंटेड इट्स ओन ऑफिसर इंचार्ज, उसको बोलते थे प्रेसिडेंट और गवर्नर. प्रेसिडेंट और गवर्नर. So all the governors, three governors, one in Calcutta, other in Bombay, other in Madras, was always appointed by BOD member and they report to BOD. ठीक है, तो कलकत्ता का गवर्नर कौन था ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी का? हुआ द गवर्नर इन कलकत्ता, जिसने बंगाल को कनकर किया, रॉबर्ट क्लाइव. रॉबर्ट क्लाइव वाज ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी गवर्नर इन कलकत्ता. ठीक है. Now Robert Clive has the conspiracy to conquer Bengal from Sirajuddaula. ठीक है. Robert Clive was East India Company governor of Calcutta, who has the conspiracy to conquer Bengal, and Bengal was conquered by Clive. ठीक है, यहाँ पे कैसे conquer किया Clive, उसी को देखना है थोड़ा. We have to discuss how Clive conquered Bengal. ठीक है. Siraj was Bengal now. In Bengal now, we have a group, and this group was headed by Mir Jafar. Mir Jafar was commander-in-chief of Sirajudollah of Bengal. ठीक है. Who wanted to become the Nawab. So now Robert Clive came into contact with Mir Jafar. Robert Clive promised to Mir Jafar was, I will make you the Nawab Bengal, Bengal of Nawab of Bengal. Help us. Because company also wanted to capture Bengal. So a conspiracy was hatched between Robert Clive and Mir Jafar in 1756. In 1756, a conspiracy was hatched between Robert Clive of East India Company and Mir Jafar, commander-in-chief of Bengal. ठीक है. This is the background of your famous battle of Plassey. Battle of Plassey, 23rd of June, 1757. A battle was fought at a place called Plassey. Plassey was a place in Bengal. ठीक है. Mir Jafar, who was the army commander of Siraj, did not fought the war. East India Company army, with help of Mir Jafar, defeated Sirajudollah in Battle of Plassey. So in Battle of Plassey, Siraj was defeated by Robert Clive, and now new Nawab was Mir Jafar. In 1757 to 1760. ठीक है. But East India Company became de facto master of Bengal. De facto का मतलब होता है illegal. Why illegal? Because in name the king still was Indian King Mir Jafar. East India Company ruled Bengal in the name of Mir Jafar. So this was the beginning of de facto East India Company ruling Bengal. ठीक है. So 1757 to 1760, in the name of Mir Jafar, East India Company was ruling over Bengal. Write down, everybody write down. Make a sequence. जैसे यहाँ सिराज है, Siraj was defeated by East India Company in 1757. The 1757 on East India Company political rule in Bengal started, but it was not the de jure rule, it was de facto rule. De jure का मतलब होता है legal rule. Legally, in name, Indian was the king of Bengal. Indian was Mir Jafar, but he was puppet in the hand of East India Company. ठीक है. So through conspiracy, not through the major war, East India Company now conquered Bengal through Battle of Plassey. ठीक है. यहाँ तक ठीक है. Then in 1760, East India Company replaced Mir Jafar with new Nawab called Mir Qasim. Mir Jafar was replaced by East India Company in 1760 by new Nawab called Mir Qasim. ठीक है. In 1763, Mir Qasim was again deposed, and for the second time, Mir Jafar again became Nawab of Bengal for second time. 1763 to 64. So East India Company was ruling illegally in Bengal in the name of India. Firstly, Mir Jafar, then Mir Qasim, then again Mir Jafar. ठीक है. Then this deposed Nawab Mir Qasim, deposed Nawab Mir Qasim, deposed Nawab Mir Qasim, along with political history थोड़ा कम होगा. Deposed Nawab Mir Qasim, clear है. Other Indian king of Awadh, Suja-ud-Dawla. Suja-ud-Dawla, नवाब ऑफ अवध. अवध का मतलब होता है कौन सा स्टेट? अवध मीन्स यूपी, लखनऊ एंड फैजाबाद द एरिया ऑफ अवध. सो अवध नवाब was सुजा-उद-दौला, and Mughal Badshah was Shah Alam II. All three Indian powers combined together and now fought a war against East India Company at a place called Buxar. Buxar is now in Bihar. During the time Bihar was part of Bengal. 1764. Battle of Buxar. सीक्वेंस यही है. तुम बना लो, सीक्वेंस बना, लिखवाने का काम. जहां इंपॉर्टेंट कंसेप्ट होगा वहां वी कैन गो फॉर डिक्रीजेस. मीर जाफर, then Mir Qasim, then again Mir Jafar, and then Battle of Plassey. So during Battle of Plassey, who was the Bengal Nawab? Who was Bengal Nawab? During Battle of Plassey, Mir Jafar, है ना? During time of Battle of Plassey, who was the Bengal Nawab? Mir Jafar. ठीक है, क्लियर है नहीं? समझ में आ जाएगा ना सबको? ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी आर्मी was headed by Hector Munro. Hector Munro was army commander of East India Company who defeated the combined army of three Indian powers in Battle of Buxar. Hector Munro, who was army commander of East India Company, who in 1764 in Battle of Buxar defeated combined armies of three Indian powers. Combined armies of three Indian powers. ठीक है. So Battle of Plassey was conquered through conspiracy, but Battle of Buxar was won by company through military superiority. Reasons why East India Company are defeated. A small army of the company defeated a very large army of the three Indian powers. IAS में क्वेश्चन आया था. How to explain the victory of the company over bigger Indian power? That was your question in the IAS exam. ठीक है, उसको देखना पड़ेगा. यहाँ तक हो गया. Tomorrow 5-7 मिनट रखेंगे हम लोग कॉन्सेप्ट्स के लिए, डाउट्स के लिए। तो यहाँ तक बैटल ऑफ बक्सर तक आज छोड़ देते हैं। So up to battle of Buxar, if anyone have any doubt, you can raise your doubts. In all the class, we can keep 5-7 minutes for doubt resolutions, doubt solving, doubt sessions. देख लो कोई doubt है तो. Region will explain tomorrow. Why a small army of the company defeated a large army of 3 Indian power. Regions per conquest of East India Company in Battle of Buxar. Any doubt? Any questions? यहाँ तक जहाँ तक किया हम लोग. If any question, any doubt, कोई भी doubt, even a stupid doubt, you can raise. हाँ, Battle of Buxar. लेकिन रीजन ये था, जैसे मान लो सपोज here we have Mughals. After decline of the, we have rise of lot of regional Indian powers like Bengal, like Awadh, like Hyderabad, like Marathas. Out of all the regional powers of India, the strongest power was Marathas. The strongest. Out of all the regional powers of India, the strongest being Marathas. And the Marathas were strongest till 1761. Till 1761, Marathas were mighty Marathas, very strong Indian power. Marathas were defeated by Afghans in Third Battle of Panipat, 1761. ठीक है, Third Battle of Panipat, 3 battle हुआ ना पानीपत में. We have 3 battles in Panipat, Haryana. Third was between Marathas and Afghans, 1761. And East India Company, through proxy, had conquered Bengal in 1757. And why East India Company allowed Bengal to be ruled by Indian power? Because East India Company was not the actual power in Bengal. Actual power was Bengal, Nawab, Mir Jafar, Mir Qasim, again Mir Jafar. The region was Maratha. Because if East India Company would have started direct rule over Bengal, Marathas could have become conscious. East India Company could have to fight with the Maratha. And that was the reason why in 1757, East India Company decided to not rule directly over Bengal because of Maratha factor. ठीक है? But in 1761, Marathas were defeated by Afghans. So in 1764, East India Company wanted to directly rule over Bengal. That was the reason of Battle of Buxar. आया समझ में? आ गया ना? And this is the reason why after Battle of Buxar, from 1765, in Bengal we have beginning of de jure rule of East India Company, legal rule of East India Company. In 1757, it was de facto rule of East India Company. Clear है? आया समझ? डिक्टेट करवा दें, लिखवा दें, हो जाएगा, ना? ठीक. Means Battle of Buxar was fought by company for establishment of de jure rule over them, because Maratha power was now gone. ठीक है? दस्तक का मिसयूज, वो दस्तक मैंने छोड़ दिया है क्योंकि समझाते तो हो सकता है कि बहुत लोगों को समझ में नहीं आता, तो दस्तक थोड़ा स्किप कर, तो डिस्कस करेंगे, कर देंगे। दीवानी तो इसके बाद आएगा, यहाँ से आएगा, ये जो आएगा ना डुअल गवर्नमेंट आएगा, दीवानी ये डिस्कस करेंगे कल, टुमारो। डुअल गवर्नमेंट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, विल डिस्कस डुअल गवर्नमेंट 1765 इन बंगाल, डिस्कस करेंगे। दस्तक छोड़ दिया, दस्तक का उतना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट काम नहीं है, प्री में है काम, मेंस में काम किया दस्तक का, प्री में काम है, बट दिस इज कोर्स ओनली फॉर मेन एग्जाम, प्री का तो है नहीं, इसीलिए छोड़। ठीक है, यहाँ तक आ जाएगा समझ में, सबको हो जाएगा, हो जाएगा मॉडर्न इंडिया, सही से बताना आप लोग, एवरीबॉडी समझ में आ जाएगा, इजी, थोड़ा ट्राई करना, समझ आ जाएगा, नॉट ए डिफिकल्टी। ठीक है, टुमारो, थैंक यू, थैंक्स।